Welcome to another episode of Explore. I've been on a little mini hiatus here because the pool has me running ragged, so it's great to get back into the podcast. A lot of people have been waiting for our next one, and I'm happy to be here at Weimer Automotive in Moorfield again with Chris Whetzel. Chris,
Hey.
how you doing?
I'm good. That was such a bad handshake.
Yeah,
there you go. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I kind of missed it. I went in low. So.
It's like when people do the fist,
Yeah.
is it fist bump, handshake? Which
Yeah, and you
one?
kind of caught in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like during COVID, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You just kind of approach people,
What do you
wait
do?
for them to make a move, or I wasn't sure. So good to be here this morning.
Yeah, I appreciate you spending some time with me, and you're a busy man.
Well, I always got time for local celebrities. So come on,
celebrities. So, here at Weimer, how long have you been here now?
I think we're about 3 years.
I was thinking
Yeah,
something
3.5.
that.
Yeah, about 3.5.
Boy, man, time marches
Oh
on,
my
doesn't
goodness,
it?
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, big time.
You've kind of moved up the ladder a bit. So what's your title here now? And
Well, I think officially I'm sales manager, and then unofficially just whatever's needed. It's always kind of been that guy, just run around and do whatever's needed. So that's kind of what I've been doing here lately. Officially, though, sales manager.
So what does a sales manager do? What's your scope of responsibilities?
Well, mainly for a sales manager, and it's just a lot of things, but you're tracking your inventory, you're making sure you have the correct cars ordered. These days, it's just about whatever the manufacturer will give you. It used to be that you could be really selective when you ordered cars, and you could say, well, I want one green, one white, one red, and I'll take one of this trim level. Now it's okay, what can I have? And whatever I can have, I'll take. Because of the inventory constraints, we have what's called allocations from the manufacturer. I was really naive coming into this. I always just thought, well, if somebody wanted to order a car or a dealership wants a car, well, you just get online, you order the car from the manufacturer. But the manufacturer actually tells you what you can order each month. And so, we've had as high as 30 cars a month we could order. The last allocation I had was for 5. Ooh. Yeah. So we're seeing, and some months it goes up and down, and that's based on different, algorithms, things like that, based off what you sell and all that. But this inventory constraint, parts shortages, all that stuff that I know we'll talk about later, but has played into it. So ordering cars, organizing the lot, making sure your staff, has the tools they need to do what they need to do to sell effectively. Websites, we have a CRM, customer. It's basically it's a tool where when customers have leads that they put in online and all that it just organizes all that for us. And so it really helps to keep track of your names in there. Yeah. Shows what you purchased, all that good stuff. And then just following up on leads, and we have a lot of online leads these days because as the inventory shortage gets worse, then people start shopping further away from home now.
So now you're not only dealing with the local customers, you've got people from other states, as you were telling me, even coming in.
Yeah, last night one of my staff was here till a little after 7 o'clock. They had a person drive from Pittsburgh to get a Mustang Mach-E all-electric car. So it is, we were talking before, and I've sold to Oregon, a gentleman in Oregon. Now, Moorfield to Oregon.
But that's a Oregon Trail right there.
Yeah, that's a stretch, yeah. That's a stretch. So we are really seeing our customer base broaden out simply because of the internet, which, not just the internet, but it's really fueled by the inventory shortage.
So with the inventory shortage, do we see an end to this? Like, I've been trying to wrap my head around it because I got my expedition now. It was end of October, beginning of November, and I was very fortunate. And I was just talking out there, hey, any more expeditions? None. So,
I would like to be very optimistic and say one day it'll get back to normal. But I really believe that everything we've been through, from COVID, chip shortage, part shortages, supply chain issues, I think it's all redefined the norm. I don't know that we'll ever go back to what was the norm in the auto industry. I think it's all been redefined. And so I don't know that within the next year or two, we will see lots just overflowing with cars again. I can't say that I would really see that.
So how do you deal with that? Because that's a whole nother challenge.
Hard to sell what you don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so and everybody's livelihood's tied into this. All my employees, everyone, and so it's basically dealing with it by trying to get, when a customer comes in, what we like to see a good trade-in, because it's a car for a car. We buy your car, you buy ours. Now it gives us something to sell, So we sell all the time without trades, no big deal. But when we can get a trade, so it just makes you more conscientious of, do they have a nice trade that we can sell? Things like that, because if my guy sells the car, that's it, it's done. So I need to give him something else to sell so he can, feed his family.
Yeah.
And so it's made us, and I think it's made us better at what we do as far as really sharpening the numbers and being competitive and all that. But it has been a challenge in every auto dealer in the United States right now. That's one of the things about it. People ride by and say, wow, where's your inventory? Well, I was out past Elkins the other day and noticed a Ford dealership there that has probably a quarter of the inventory I have right now, and I'm low. And it really, my heart kind of like, man, I felt bad for him because I know what it's like. It is tough, though. It's been a severe challenge. But, a challenge, though, I'm sure you've read a lot of Dr. Maxwell stuff, probably, John Maxwell. The other day I was reading a leadership article, and he was talking about how, an optimist sees things one way, and a pessimist, and I think he was saying something like an optimist waits for the rain to stop, or hopes the rain will stop. A pessimist doubts the rain will stop, or the winds will stop. But a leader simply adjusts the sails. So you adjust the sails of the boat instead of complaining about it. You just learn to fly or learn to sail in the storm.
Here's the hand you were dealt with.
Yeah.
Now make it work.
Exactly.
Because everything has changed.
Everything.
Which brings us to the boom for the used car market.
Unbelievable.
It's exploded.
Unbelievable. You hear stories. I have people that talk about, hey, I had a buddy that traded in his car and they gave him what he paid for it 2 years ago. I'll one up that. I traded in a 2-year-old vehicle and paid $4,000 more than the guy paid for it when he bought it 2 years ago. And it's all dictated by the market. You can go find book values and all that, and that's all fine. That's all good tools. But we know that everything that you buy is driven by market. It's all market price. You go in to buy crab cakes at your favorite restaurant, what's it say? Market price. Yep. They're not just going to set a price on it and leave it. It's market price. And so the market is driving, the market's dictating what we do right now. And it's everything. It's a gallon of milk, it's a gallon of gas. And the car industry is not exempt from that. It just goes right up with it. So
you need vehicles to get to work, and unfortunately everyone's looking. And so the Kelley Blue Book value, I think I heard 110% of what the value is sometimes as much.
Those numbers. The numbers can be off when you're looking at appraisal tools with Kelley Blue Book and different things like that, simply because, again, it comes back to market. So they'll set that. And theirs is based on market data too. But in this business, it's every day, it's real world. Market changes day by day by day. I've seen cars change as much as $1,500 to $2,000 in a 1 week span. Yeah. So that's another challenge.
Yeah. So how do you figure that out? Like,
I would like to sit here and say to you, JR, that I have this very good process that a lot of the times you just do the best you can for where the market's at, and then just cross your fingers and hope that it works out. And sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't, and that's the risk of the business.
So here's the question: do you buy used cars straight out, or do you only do trade? You do buy them straight
absolutely.
out. So if people had a used vehicle and they're like, I just need to sell this thing, they could bring it to Weimer and.
Certainly. And now, of course, when we're buying straight out, it means you're not buying anything from us, so you're buying straight out, or we're buying your vehicle straight out. So we will be looking for a lower mileage vehicle. And when I say lower mileage, 50, 60, 70,000 or less. I don't want to, obviously it's not good business to purchase a vehicle that's 150,000 miles that I can't resell, or something that has to be towed in. So we're not looking to do that. But we do purchase vehicles outright. And it just, in this market right now, it helps us to keep our inventory. Again, you can't sell what you don't have.
Yeah.
So we've purchased a lot of vehicles over the last year, just straight out from people. And it's a service to the community too, because we've had people, and it breaks your heart, but somebody will pass on in a family, and they have a vehicle or two left behind. And so what do we do with this? If no one in the family wants it, or there's a loan on it, or they still owe. So a lot of times people will come in, we'll give them an appraisal, and if they agree to the price, we'll just buy the vehicle. And it usually helps out the family. And I just had a gentleman went into kidney failure from another town kind of close to us, but just panicking. What am I going to do? I can't drive anymore. And so we stepped up, gave him a really good offer on his pickup, and bought it. So.
And it probably didn't last long on the lot, did it?
Yeah, I think about 3 weeks. We sold it late last week. So yeah.
So of course you can always get in touch with Weimer. You got that used vehicle out there. Get in touch with them. It reminds me of a meme. I don't know if you saw it or not. And it speaks to just how wacky the market is right now. And it said Ford pickup truck, $25,000. I know what I have, and it's just 4 tires.
Yeah. And that's probably not far from the truth. Yeah, and that's the scary part. And we are seeing the market is starting to turn a little soft as far as used vehicle prices. So I would say if you have something that you're interested in trading in, or you're interested in selling outright, time is kind of the essence, because we are seeing more and more cars being produced as things begin to loosen up a little bit. So obviously, market conditions, that says more vehicles enter the market on the new side, it's going to drive the used side down. And that's what inflated the whole used car market, was the absence of new cars. And so, I forgot to turn my phone off.
That's all right.
And so, a lot of that will dictate the used car prices. So we are starting to see it turn a little bit. So now is the time for sure.
Okay. Yeah. And then as always, used car prices go down, and then new cars get flooded. Then you have a little bit more leeway with what you can do on a new car.
Right.
It's just the circle of life in the car industry, right?
It is.
So speaking of sales, what's your favorite sale? Like, who do you like to sell to, or do you have a story or an anecdote?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've not been in this long, but a lot of my customers have commented, you must have been in the business 20, 30 years. Because I think I kind of draw on some of the old, kind of old school car, because I don't mind the dance. Because it seems like there's this, especially with, I don't want to say older, or more mature customers, are used to the days where you went in and they were ready to go to battle with the car guy, and they're prepped and ready. And to me, I'm a people person, so I like the interaction. So if I have a customer that they want to do the dance, they want to go back and forth, I can do it. I like it. I like the interaction. Some customers want to come in, they know what they want to pay, and it's just yes or no, and it's a short, but probably my favorite ones are when that 16-year-old comes in. And mom and dad's got him here, and mom and dad's really concerned, what's the safety ratings? How many airbags does this thing have? So I love seeing the first-time drivers. That's like probably my favorite. And the college kid that's drove just something held together by faith and duct tape, over their high school years, and now they're getting ready to go to college. A lot of our kids go to Morgantown and things, and so we need something all-wheel drive that's going to get them through, Cooper's Rock in the wintertime coming through and all that. So that's probably my favorite, and the ones that have the story tied to it. The ones like the guy that had this health issue and all that. So the ones that have that more of a deep meaning to it, those are the ones that kind of stick with me more. But it's before we were talking, I was trying to when you're put on the spot to think of one, there's 1,000 stories out there that we've had with people. But those are probably my more favorite sales, is the first time drivers and everything.
Yeah, so because putting someone in their very first new car is, I remember when I bought my first new vehicle, I was probably 30 before I got a new vehicle, and it was exciting. It was special. It was like So with the sales and the prices, how it's going. How much flexibility does a salesperson have when it comes to pricing?
Okay, so basically the flow when you come to our dealership, and most any dealership, is that you have a salesperson that handles the transaction. They're going to greet you, they're going to gather your information, they're going to get you on a test drive, and then we have my position, and then the position above me, which is the general manager, Gareth Hill. Dennis Dawson's our general sales manager, meaning that he is the sales manager over the sales managers, and he oversees all 3 stores. So basically, the salesperson has a structure where he knows what price the vehicle, what we are asking. Now, a lot of times that salesman, he doesn't know what we have paid for the vehicle. He doesn't know how much shop repair we've done to it, what kind of cost we have, whether, new tires these days, $1,200. You're going to spend $1,200 to put tires on something. So if we trade something in and it doesn't, the tires doesn't meet inspection, or we think that they're just too far down to sell, $1,200 for changing oil and everything. So I say all that to say the salesperson knows the price. He knows that structure as far as what we're asking. And he doesn't have a lot of flexibility. And it's not a trust issue with our salesman. It's more of basically just kind of a responsibility thing for management. We want to make sure that we're involved in the deals and all that. So he doesn't have a lot of flexibility, but his job is, if you say, really come in today and here's what I have to spend, here's my budget. And, people make offers. And that's what makes it a unique business. You go buy a gallon of milk, you can't really borrow a dollar.
I can't go to Shop and Save and say, hey,
right.
$2.50 for this.
Exactly. Extra value milk. Yeah. I'm not paying $10. I'm paying $5. And so that's the unique part of this business. But as our sales, we really kind of keep that burden off of them. And then basically what they will do is, okay, they'll write down, hey, my customer would like to be here. And then they bring it to what we call the desk. And the desk is basically where I'm at. Dennis Dawson's there, our general sales manager, Rodney Weiss. And basically, so they'll bring it there, and that's where we say, let's look at what we have in it, and let's see if we can work a deal. We're dealing with our local people. We're doing everything we can to get them in a vehicle. Sometimes it pains. Sometimes it's a little painful knowing what I've paid for shop bill or something like that. But so as far as the salesperson, we do keep that burden off of them, and they handle all the test drives, everything like that. They present pricing and all that. But when it comes to the flexibility, and if we do have room, and I don't mind saying, if we have room in the vehicle, we're going to do whatever we can to help somebody to get in the vehicle, that's for sure. And so, but it does take the burden off the salesperson, that he doesn't have to say, it kind of gets him off the hook. Yeah. And so, but the flexibility is handled more at the sales manager level. Because we have all the data.
What it came in, everything on that.
Right. And as a salesman, I was a salesman, and I don't care. Let's sell a car.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want my X on the board. Yeah. And so, okay, you want $5,000 off? Let's do it. I want my X. So it does create that, basically a spectrum of responsibility within the organization, and accountability too. So,
what's the hottest car vehicle type right now that maybe people are asking for, that are like, can you get this on the lot?
Okay, so I think with Ford, it's definitely the Broncos. Broncos have
going back to OJ again, huh?
Oh my goodness, it has been. It's probably one of the hottest releases of any car that I've seen in recent years.
Really?
It really is.
What's different about the Bronco now from yesteryear?
I guess it's just I think in culture right now, we like retro stuff. We like to reach back into the past.
True.
I saw some, looks like bell bottoms are coming back.
Oh gosh.
Right? Right? So I don't know what to do with that, me personally. I think I'm just going to have to let that go. Yeah. I don't think I can sport that.
What, we can't wear the skinny jeans anymore, you and I?
Oh, no, skinny jeans ain't working. I really wanted to get back in with the mullets when they came around, but I'm follically challenged. Yeah. It's not going to happen. My boy grew a killer mullet. I had one in high school, but I think for the Bronco, it's just been that whole retro thing. It's reaching back into the past, bringing something out, and then, adding the modern accessories to it. Because that is the thing. The body styles are really similar. I have a split screen picture on my desktop on my computer, and it's like a 76 Bronco compared to like a 2021, and the body lines are almost identical.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but you're going to get navigation, heated
Yeah.
seats,
Yeah.
you know, all the things the 76 didn't have. So that's a hot one. With GM right now, I would have to say for those guys, you know, it's probably like the Tahoes and the Suburbans. That's a really hot vehicle. They're hard to get right now, just like the Expedition. You did snag, you know,
Yeah.
our last Expedition.
Yeah, I love that.
So those are the hot ones right now. With Dodge, the Grand Cherokee is always going to be popular. The Wranglers are always popular. But with Ford, I certainly know the Bronco's been now. But the Mach-E now, I have a lot of people waiting for the Mach-E. The Maverick, Ford come out with this light-duty, basically smaller than a Ford Ranger Maverick. It was so popular that all of production in all the factories filled up in March of this year for the 2022 model, and was shut down in March because the factories were already overloaded. So the Maverick was very popular.
So the Mach-E, that's part electric or fully electric?
Fully electric.
Fully electric.
Yeah, sold one last evening, fully electric. My first experience with an electric car was a Tesla. And, you know, I jumped in and I was very surprised at the torque and everything. But it's a Tesla, you know. So when the Mach-E, when I finally got to drive my first Mach-E, you know, I'm not saying my expectation was real low because Ford's a great product. But when I got in there and hit the accelerator, it's 100% torque instantly. If you drive an electric golf cart, you know, as soon as you hit that pedal, you're going.
You're going.
And I was amazed. I mean, it kind of snapped my head back in the seat, and very powerful. So the Mustang Mach-E that has been, the one we sold last night, wasn't the extended range, but it still had a range of over 200 some miles. She got in it and drove to Pittsburgh. So,
wow.
You know,
Yeah.
I sold one to a great customer here locally, a local business owner, and she works, and I won't say where she works, but she works at a place where pretty long shifts, and the only reason I'm not saying where she works, I don't want to, you know, people putting two and two together and putting her on the spot without asking her, but where she goes, she has a parking garage, and her business that she works for, I think charges her around 30 some bucks a month, like 35 bucks to plug in and park. And so that's her gas bill for a whole month.
Yeah.
She runs every day from here to Winchester for $35 a month. And
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. And so that's been a good thing. It's been a very hot car. Again, somebody drove from Pittsburgh. We had leads as far out as Indiana on this Mach-E, and it was basically who could get here first. So Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, closer.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about the part supplies and getting parts in. Have you noticed the parts picking up more than the vehicles, or is it still kind of on pace with, well...
Yeah. I think, honestly, it's probably about the same pace. Parts was a nightmare for the longest time. Plastics, I mean, something as simple as a bed liner, plastic drop-in bed liner, bug shields, little things that we take for granted all these years, where you can walk back in your parts room and be like, hey, I need a set of window vents or a bug shield for the front. No problem, next day. And now it's like next week or 2 weeks from now or a month from now. So parts, we are seeing it pick up. Again, as the vehicle, I think everything's just kind of moving together. It's a little staggered sometimes, but it is moving together. And so we are seeing some uptick here.
And around here with when we had the hailstorm and all those vehicles were getting repaired, I'm sure that a lot of stock was depleted with that, because every vehicle, every house that was being, I mean, we're still getting things done now from the hailstorm, and that was a year and a half ago.
I'm still trading in vehicles that I'm finding hail damage on.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was just at the end of being a salesman at that time when that first big hailstorm hit the Grant County area. And I sold 6 vehicles in 1 week.
I think I called you because I was like, is there any with hail damage that are less? And it didn't hit Moorfield, though.
There were some good deals. There were some good deals turned out during that time, because, you know, when we trade a vehicle in with hail damage, you know, we have to account to fix it. I mean, that has to be in the equation somewhere. And so, you know, we were able to bring some in. But then, you know, as well, we had people that had just good opportunities that was ready to get out of their vehicle and all that good stuff. And it was like, well, I guess this is my sign. It's time to buy a vehicle.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all right. So, that was an interesting time. But, the parts is stepping up. And overall, I am optimistic that we are slowly getting back to whatever the new normal will be. But we are slowly getting back in all areas.
And the same with the chips, too, which runs everything.
Oh, my goodness. The chips. I know way too much about semiconductor chips now. I never did want to know. It's not something that I woke up one morning and said, I want to know all about how they make semiconductor chips and all that. But it's just been one of those things. It is just a hot topic right now, and everybody talks about it. But it was a perfect storm for there. I know they had one of the plants that was destroyed, and then with COVID and all that. And it just, when COVID happened, the major cities shut down. Everybody started buying more TVs, more gaming systems. That happened to be the same semiconductor used, and then the supply chain was just too much, and it's really been a perfect storm for the auto industry lately. So.
Yeah, that makes it different. It's something that we have to deal with, but if anyone knows where we can get all the minerals for semiconductors here in West Virginia, we'd all be billionaires.
There you go.
That'd be great.
Sure. That would be great, yeah.
So I need a new vehicle. What can I get for a deal in July?
So July is, and here I'm a poet and don't know it. So July is the time to buy for sure. This month we are offering 110% KBB fair trade in value. So you look at that value, we'll go 110% of that. So we're going to go over what KBB says on that. In addition to that, we're going to throw in 3 years of routine maintenance. So that's 3 years of free oil changes and tire rotations. That goes a long way when you start looking at buying oil these days. The price of oil with gas, everything's up. And so in July, that's what we're going to do. In June, we gave away the 1 year gas. We had a customer that won, the free gas for a year. So
I don't know anybody that wouldn't want a year of free gas right now.
Tried my best. Like I bought a truck in June, right? So I bought one here from Weimer, and they wouldn't let me in on it. So I did my best to get in on that. I couldn't get in on it, but July we have that promotion going on. But as far as buying a new vehicle, do your research. Obviously the internet's the big research tool now. That's the new front door to the dealerships is your website, internet. But customers are very savvy these days about the product. A lot of times they come in and honestly will know probably details sometimes that I don't know because I have to know all the trim levels. They're just concentrating on the one that they're looking at, and they're very well versed in everything, and does make sometimes the sales process a little easier. They know what they want. They come in. But if you're in the market for a vehicle, come in. A lot of times what you're seeing online doesn't carry over. A picture doesn't carry over with the ride or the feel, and so come in. We're still a small town dealership, so all of our guys here are local. As far as our salesman, our salesman's going to be somebody you're seeing in the grocery store, somebody you're seeing at Walmart, and somebody that lives here that knows the terrain, that knows the winters, knows the summers. They know everything, and we can really guide you and help you out as far as. But you're coming in, you're picking it out, you're going to drive, and then basically go through the trade numbers and all that stuff. But at every step, we want this to be a comfortable process. And the auto industry stuff, people come through the door already thinking you're trying to cheat them or something like that because there's the old slick-haired, slick shiny shoe, slick-haired, car salesman from the day. But honestly, my salesmen are just hometown guys here, trying to make a living, trying to support their families, and they're consumers too. They have to buy vehicles too, and we really conduct ourselves that when I bought a vehicle, there were certain things that I didn't like about the process, and so now that I have a little bit of control over that process, I really try to get into this whole deal of the smoke and the mirrors and all the stuff that whether it's perception or reality at some places, we just try to eliminate all that. Here's our price. Here's what we're trying to do. And it's kind of we try to do the no haggle thing, unless you want to dance. And if you want to dance, we'll dance. I told you that. I like the interaction. But we just really try to simplify the process. We want you to have a good time when you come here. If you're spending this amount of money, we want it to be a good experience for you. You shouldn't have to be in pain to spend money like that, because spending the money alone pains you. But you know what you're getting in return. I mean, you drove off in one of the nicest vehicles I've had on my lot. You know, that had a good deal, and you know we want you to drive off happy. We don't want you to drive off and like, oh, that was terrible. You know? I mean, that was a terrible experience. You know, so we want you to be happy about it. So we do try to simplify the process, and we do honestly treat you like family, and that's what I love about the Weimer organization. These aren't owners that I don't know. Even as a salesman, I had daily almost interaction with Tyler, and our owners would come through. These are guys that will sit down and ask you how your family's doing. And so I love the aspect that it is a family-owned business, and that really spills over into our daily process, that we do want you to feel like, you know, family when you come here.
And now you can do e-sign and things like that too to make it even
speed
up the process.
Emailing credit apps out, and you know, we have the very secure link that when we send you your app, you fill it out, it goes back into the portal. Everything is secured, approved by all of our lenders that we work with, and well, during COVID, we had to learn that became the normal. You know, we're handling everything remotely, and then having our drivers deliver. So yeah, that really helped us sharpen. And there's the optimistic thing about trouble. You know, it just helps really refine some of your skills, makes you better in certain areas, and that certainly did with that. So we do a lot of remote deliveries. We have drivers go out. Junior and Sue Kyle's our top drivers, and I can call Junior and say, do you want to? He'll say, yeah, before he ever knows where he's going. You know, do you want to go drive? Yeah, oh yeah, I'll be right there. And, I've sent him as far as Atlanta, Georgia, you know, to deliver vehicles. Send him to Cincinnati, different things. So at any rate, and I do apologize for the phone again, so that's probably a deal coming through.
That's good. So one last question. Can people still order a vehicle they want and get it? Like, can they make their vehicle and, hey, it's going to be a 3-month lag time, but yes, this is...
Yeah, well, we're at that interesting time of year where the model years are switching over. So this is the time of the year where they begin to phase out 2022 orders, obviously, and now we're getting ready to go into 23. So it is in July. It is one of those times where there is that lag. Now I can still order a couple different product lines with Ford. Chevrolet can still order a couple, but now we're getting to the point where they're going to open the order banks for 2023s. So yes, but to answer your question, yes, you can still order. It may be waiting another week or two till the order bank opens for 2023s, but you can still order and you know, come in and sit down and we can go through it. The ordering process is very simple. It is very interesting though. People that have never ordered cars come in to order cars, and they love the experience because they're literally saying, I want that color seat. I want this color rim or tire. I want black instead of silver. And because a lot of times you'll come onto a car lot and be, oh, I love that color. Oh, but I don't like the color of the seat.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a give and take. When you order a vehicle, it's everything you want. And so when that vehicle arrives, if you don't like it, it's on you, right? No, no, it does give the customer a lot of control in the process. And it's an interesting thing. So, but yes, you can still order it.
It's like Build-A-Bear. You're building a car.
Yes, yeah, build a car, yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, you can still order.
Okay. Well, guys, you know what you have to do. You have to make your way into Weimer Automotive, see what they have, sell a vehicle, trade in a vehicle, buy a vehicle.
Yeah.
And Chris and his crew will hook you up great.
Absolutely. Stop by, have a cup of coffee with us, talk about a vehicle. You know, we're very sociable around here. So, and we got a great industrial Keurig machine back there. Commercial is probably more the word, but yeah, come in, have a cup of coffee, and just sit down and talk. A lot of people just need to talk through what they're thinking about with the vehicle, and we will take time to do that. Whether you buy a car from us today, next month, next year, just come in and sit down. Let's get the wheels turning, pun intended there, but on the deal. So.
Okay, let's see if we can do this right this time.
All right,
Chris,
there it is.
Thank you very much. We nailed it. Guys, everyone, go to Explore. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble, and you can check out this video and all of the rest of our podcasts. Everyone, have a great day.